Right, okay, so this is going to be a tier list, and for me, when I make a tier list, the actual civs might not be in the right order. I just want to give a flavour. I want to talk about what I think is roughly going on, but realistically, for civs who are above the average, I want to suggest nerfs to bring them down to the average. Civs that are below the average, I want to suggest buffs will bring them back up to average. Now, for me, I want to put every civ I can possibly into like the B plus A minus tier. Okay, let's say here, I want to put every single civ in B. That's my objective. Now I can't do that, but I want to merge them to the middle. There are some people out there who want to try and bring everything to the top, merge everything on the S tier civ, and that is tier list. That is the redo every single civ and give every single civ OP cards so that every civ feels OP, and hopefully the game balances out at the top when actually these cards and new ideas aren't tested at all. They aren't really, I mean, they're fought through, but laws of unintentional consequences just kind of sometimes just flows to the top, and there's things you just can't quite predict which happen. So that's my philosophy, is bring into B tier everything and kind of flatten it out, and obviously try not to have radical changes to do it. So I'm going to do a bit of top, a bit of the bottom, bit of this and bit of that. And now the more I'm thinking about it, the more I'm started thinking, shit, I don't know what I'm talking about. So let's start off with, I can save the Hausa rants to later. Let's start with Spain. I think Spain are an S tier civ in 1v1. I think they dictate the pace of game of every 1v1 matchup they have. They have ways to compete in every 1v1 matchup. Strong shipments, versatile shipments, the crossbow age up, the Halb FF, the logistician C. There's a strategy for every map. They can play to any map. Maybe on no TPs that they on maps they kind of bring to a normal playing field, but even then they have fast XP. They can build a church. It's not the end of the world. They can definitely still do all-in plays, and it's sometimes I also want to caveat, this is definitely, I'm speaking to the 1600 EDO players here. I'm not speaking to those big boys. There's no L tier. Some of the timings are really hard to hold. I'm not gonna beat around the bush here. The drastic Halb FF. If you see it, you still die. If you've got the wrong civ and the wrong strat, you just die. It's a traditional Spain FF. If they just go pike heavy and you're not actually good at micro rounds or getting the vills micro right, the TC micro right, you're in trouble. It's a real big problem. The dogs is another problem. Spanish gold, I think it's actually fine at the moment. 360 gold per shipment. It takes about 3 shipments to get to that 1,000 gold level, which is the equivalent of any other civ in its sentence. So it's a very clear kind of cost and payoff reward. So I think that's actually fine as it is. The revolt's interesting. They have Death Hussars and Peruvian Legionnaires. Now, if they had one or the other, I think that's okay, because you can kind of plan around it, but you can't plan which one they're going to go for, because realistically, if you plan for Hussars and go heavy infantry, you get cleaned by Peruvian. If you plan for Peruvians and go skirm heavy, you just get cleaned by the Death Hussars. So you're in real big trouble there. Logistician, yes, Spain, water logistician. Land logisticians, not so much. Spain also has Argentina. Fuck me, really? All 3 of the OP revolts. That's insane. I remember one of the first games I played on DE was versus Mongo Billion, and he actually went Chile Revolt. And I knew it was strong then, and it just kind of went under the radar for such a long time. But it's always strong. Like, how can you not give credits to Imperial Hussars with more attack, less HP, but more attack? 75 attack. When you even, I suppose you don't often mix that with an unction boost, but how the unction multiplies, it can get very scary very quickly. But it's hard to punish Spain. They usually age up with the tower, the gold. They have the dogs defend. Auto tech to 191 HP from 110. 80 HP plus more. I've looked at the numbers. It's 80% increase of HP between the ages. No other unit in the game has a similar upgrade to that when we're not including heroes and explorers. Like, I like to think a dog is very similar to Disciple. It's not the case. It's insane. Bows on the age up, train a couple musks. There's the dog. Send in 7 rods. You can't push an age 2. I've tried to push an age 2, and I keep getting cleaned. So I think Spain's up there, and my nerf for Spain would be to reduce nerf dog HP. Keep that in line. 20% attack and HP upgrade to the Fortress Age, please. Keep it in standard line with every other unit in the game. I'll be looking to maybe take off 10, 15 HP from the Veteran Lancer. I think a Lancer cavalry unit, which, because it's a Veteran Lancer, it's not really a colonial Lancer when it gets there. 350 HP and 30% range resist is very tanky for a unit which demolishes infantry. Now, I will give credit for the Lancer. It doesn't do good versus cavalry fights, and it's the way it's designed. There are some other pseudo cavalry which doesn't necessarily apply, but I'm looking to nerf the dogs on the age 3 and maybe just reduce the tankiness of Lancer Cav. Let's go for a Civ down the bottom, and I'm looking for a Civ down at the bottom. Oh, I'm struggling with Sweden. Is anybody surprised that we're putting Sweden at the bottom of the 1v1 tier here? H2, their tempo, slow. Their boom, slow. Their units in H2 are easily countable. They're forced to go Caroleans. I've tried to argue, like, oh, maybe you can go like bow pike, put your torps on the wood line, but you can't, because the Caroleans do the jobs of crossbows much better, and you don't need pikes if you've got infantry which have range, which kill cavalry from range so quickly. Like, the idea of going bow pike is just not there. You try and drop a torp on a tree line. 0.05 wood per second per tree, and the radius of catching trees is so small you can only get 5 maximum. But let's say you get your perfect torps on trees every time. You need 5 fully torped trees. Costs about 700 wood just to get the wood trickle of distributism. It's just insane, like the real poor return you get on the wood. So then you folks maybe dropping on hunts where you can't kill the hunts now with the rifles from the torp, which I think is a good change in the sense that I'm surprised people did not lame that more. Drop a torp on your enemy's second hunt, shoot all the animals. The attack on it was a little silly, but to actually try and get the hunting bonus from animals on your torps is so much APM. It really is tough. Gold gather rate was nerfed, which means the Engelberg Ironwork was double nerfed. It used to be 0.6 gold per second later on in the patches. Now it's only down to 0.54 gold per second. That's less than a vil. That's less than a vil when you're sending in multiple cards just to try and get something going, like the Dominions into Engelberg. I mean, you'll probably try and squeeze in blueberries there before Engelberg because it's just not great. And a couple torps out on the map, it's easy pickings these days. Caroleans suck ass, kind of, but the torp HP reduction means they are easy pickings. The tempo's bad. If you age up to the Fortress Age in good time, you really have no eco to go up with. You don't often try and play Sweden with a 4-vil card. Do you have a 4-vil card? I think they actually do have a 4-vil card. Maybe Sweden's more of a semi-FF civ. You kind of try and play around maybe the cheaper mercs, falconets. See what you can do with 10 Caroleans, 9 Jaegers and 2 Falks, maybe, but I don't know. And then by the time you do get the boom rolling, your opponent's already got the tempo, and they're kind of dictating, knocking at the door. And I just try and hold on versus colonial German play. I'm just struggling with Swedes. You can't really do anything. And some civs just insanely hard counter. Dutch, China, India, probably Eero. Anything with any remote of skirms in H2, and you're in big trouble. Ottoman. Like Jan Abus, I remember Jan Abus was the way to play against Sweden back when Sweden was good. Jan Abus now must be a cakewalk for them. D tier, poor. How to improve it? It's hard because Torps is one of those things you don't want to overbuff because it's such a scaling potential, but certainly... Oh, and the banter in the chat has started. Let him back in after a minute. He's a bit of a lad. Sweden starts with 5 vills. Now, Torps is one of the problems that you can scale off that horrendously bad, but maybe a 6 vill start to keep him in line with the European civs may be fine. You might want to take away Wood Crate as well, so you only get 1 Torp in Age 1, and kind of that similar... it's like they have a similar start to Brits, but Brits have an extra vill than Sweden. Yeah, it's a similar situation, so that would be kind of how I'd look to go there. I would like to see pikemen upgraded to guard, honestly, for free. Dark Elf pikemen are just pointless. It's just the most pointless unit in the game, unfortunately, at the moment. I think Hackapels are currently underused, but they don't... It's just like how Lion would probably play USA. It's just must cannon, really, for Sweden, and anything else just doesn't really fit the composition well at the moment. Wasn't Torp's HP reduced to 1100? Could go back up to 1200 just a little bit. Maybe a bit more flexibility in terms of upgrading wood gathering on Torps could be quite nice, just to allow a possible sniff at bow pike play. But Sweden are kind of the 1 unit civ at the moment, and if anything can help them get away from a 1 unit spam, that will actually help them compositionally. Where in team games, what they do is literally make Carolians and run around the map. It's just what it is. 1v1 poor. I remember the days we used to say that the best way to nerf Sweden would be to take away the Exile Prince, but now they need the Exile Prince. They have no tempo. Right, let's go. Let's go pick a tier civ. Let's. Ooh, you know what? At the moment, I'm just gonna put. It's really hard on the current extra 5 wood. Oh yeah, even extra 5 wood. It's still S tier. Come on. High A plus. Okay, I'll bow down to the top brass here. I will put it so high. They are worse than Spain, but in between these two at the moment, I'm absolutely struggling. The biggest thing I don't get about Brits at the moment, which I don't think anybody's realistically realised, is that the Age 1 they have is insane. You can play very badly Age 1 and still get an insane age up time. 6 vills, and within 30 seconds of the game, you just built 2 manor houses, you're up to plus 2 vills there. Then send in the 3 vills with the XP you get from the manor houses, and you have so many vills on the map in Age 1 that you're always guaranteed a very good age up time to the second age. And there's absolutely... yeah, they're true. But I think the problem with that pass is that their team game spiraled out of control. And it wasn't... There was lots of issues, especially like Age 4, Svei Lifeguards, Infinite Mams, Svei Lifeguards again. Now, Britain Age 1, the tempo is just there. We're talking about 3 minute 50 to 4 minute 10 age ups most games. Probably like 4 minute 5. It's either 4.5 or 4.10. It's that timing. And it's not like they're aging up fast and they're really hurting themselves. If the faster they can get, the faster they can send 700 wood and play from there. And they're currently, their Civ bonus just makes them build houses. Now, I do accept that more vills means go through natural hunts fast and resources, but the natural resources on current maps is just too much. There's so much of it going around, and actually, because Brits have so much stuff, they don't actually have to worry about herding as much, because they can just build manor houses on the herd. They just spawn there. They don't have to walk to the herd. Age up with a tower, maybe get 5 pikes or 5 musk from a Rex, and they're pretty much safe. They're pretty much fine. They're Lavin Knife, and they're kept to play on there. Really, really strong. If I was to nerf the British, Virginia Company is a concern, because it's one of those, sometimes it's just the right play is just to go VC, and if it was, even if you know they're going VC, unless I'm Dutch, if I go 5 Huss, I'm hurting my own build to try and hurt Brits' build, but Brits can go there a little bit faster, especially with Dutch nerf at the moment. But it's the Age 1. Like, we're honestly talking about minus 100 food. It's either minus 100 food or minus 100 wood. And I know if you take away a wood crate, there'll be uproar. Oh, how dare you take away Germans' 200 wood start? Brits have 300 wood. They have no reason to complain at all about anything. TP mana house every game, double mana house every game. Wow, you've increased the manas by 5 wood. They can still build 2 manas in the first age. Whoop-de-fucking-do. S tier, too strong. I would take away 100 food. I'd want more, actually. I think 100 food, and I like the mana house at 140 wood. I'd also whack a 5-second build time on it as well, which will equate to an extra 5 wood in terms of villager seconds. 145 wood for an extra villager. You can take that trade. It's a good trade still. By the way, what is criticism about starting crates is funny. It's the tempo. In 1v1, tempo really dictates play, and that's what I really feel is going on. Let's get the Ethiopians out of the way. I don't really know much about them, so I'm going to put them as upper C tier because I don't know. Maybe B tier. I feel this is a civ which, if played more, can get to the level of everyone going, actually, this is probably a decent civ. The only thing I really kind of dislike about Ethiopians is that they have a unit for every situation. They have a really strong musketeer, which is fact, last time I checked, they still have the decent attack, extra range, extra speed. Is it double rate of fire as well? Am I missing something? Gas Kenyas were insane, and I feel offended, personally offended, that they were released in the state they were. I just cannot fathom how you can really put a musketeer out on that strength level and be fine with it. You just compare to everything else, and that's the one thing I can understand everything else, so you can tune, but copying 3 civilizations musketeer bonus into 1 but not nerfing anything else was just something I just can't forgive. It's especially when it's a paid position doing it. What I would say at the moment is, I remember back in the last summer where we were testing or playing around, and people without the patch or the civs could play with people with the civs, and I was playing Drongo a couple of games, Dutch into Ethiopia, and I could do nothing versus Big Boy, the mortar, and I was like, well, that mortar's got like 32 range, it's sieging my banks down, I can't let him have a bank. Even if I age up with 2 banks FF, I can't let him have a bank. I've got to try and do something. Skirms forward, Big Boy turns around, fires a volley off, you just lost 5 skirms. You're like, ah. So they nerfed the Big Boy, but they've also slapped a 0.1 multiplier on artillery for this guy. Now, I know you want to try and focus this unit to be anti-infantry, anti-building, but 0.1 multiplier versus artillery is a little bit of overkill. That was just like, oh my god, I've got to do something. Here, quick, plaster. Slap a plaster on it without thinking about it. I think it's 200 attack, or maybe 250 attack. With a 0.1 multiplier, it's just 25 damage. It's an 8-shot kill versus a falconet. Well, a falconet probably, I'm going to say a Big Boy mortar. I'm feeling the number 350. I don't actually know, but there's not a good dynamic there at the moment. And I think versus Ethiopia, just Musk semi, that Musk falconet does well versus Ethiopia. Really need to bring up that multiplier to maybe at 0.25, so at least 1 mortar can kill 1 falconet in 3 shots. Doesn't seem unreasonable. Needs a bigger differentiation between solid shot and explosive shot. Like, solid shot is like miles better than explosive in any regard. Explosive just, it doesn't need to be in the game. It doesn't have a role to fill. It's just there. It's just it's not great. Starting Ecos feels a bit awkward, but you do have this weird build a church and a coin mine, so you can't see the coin mine, and you've got villagers picking at the side of the building, like there's like leaves growing up, like ivy. Are they picking off like flowers for the side of the church? It's just a really rushed. I still don't get the concept of why. Were Ethiopians like mega religious? Maybe. One thing I find the Ethiopians to be pretty strong at is obviously the unit composition. Shotel warriors underused criminally. They have a multiplier versus all infantry. That's heavy infantry as well. Surely a bug. How do you have a unit like that, similar to the Coyote Runner, has a multiplier versus all infantry? Maybe they're trying to pay homage to the Spanish Lancer, but I feel that's the wrong way to do it. overall, the more I talk about it, the more I feel like this is edged up to B tier, but because no one knows about it, it's C. And I feel like it's a civ. If you sit in your base for too long, you're not getting much out. And once the cows go, you're in trouble. So I'm going to have to leave it there. Let's go up a notch. Let's go up to another... Let's go A tier. China, A tier. It's a joy to play at the moment in the sense that you know you're playing a good civ. You know you're playing a civ which now you can't really get punished. It's... If you have a civ where you're thinking, okay, I'm going to try and FF here, but if somebody walks in my base with 5 hussars, 10 musketeers, I'm in really big trouble. I feel that that's a balanced system, but you have to scout. Do you still go for the age up, or do you try and pull out? Do you try and move things around? But now with the villager card into tea leaves, into Russian consulate blockhouse, that tea leaves card in that build order specifically gives you 200 wood for the export for consulate, 100 export as well. So that's probably about 150 res in its own right, or because the blockhouse is 225, let's just say it's 1-to-1, so 300 res at the moment. And then you get to spend that export onto a blockhouse, which is 250 res. You have to kind of like a 550, 5 population space, 600 res, and something which can kill units and has a multiplier versus the SARS. So it's a really big thing to have, and all that is useful in ensuring that China gets to do their premier build, which is send 700 gold afterwards and get to the fortress age. Whether they go skirms or eco is up to them, but with a blockhouse, you porcelain tower, you don't need the skirms on the age up. It's just incredible. Got cycles to pivot into. You'll probably age up at a decent time. 650 at the moment, I think, is par time for China. It used to be like 7, but with the Wonder buff, you're getting into a strong position there. Not risking villagers on the backside of a palace. Your palace gets literally built in seconds. None of this walking around going like, oh, Deirdre, go around the back of the Wonder. Make sure it looks good that side. Mark, you go that side. And Alex, yeah, you go that side. Also using British names, not trying to sound too racist here, but you get what I'm trying to say. It's a lot of spreading out. A lot of spreading out going on. Where now it's just, you can have the summer palace with an inch of your town, with an inch of your town centre, enough for like one huss to run through. You can't really get raided. If you build your base correctly, you can't get raided while building a Wonder, and that is just such a huge boost to China. I've seen people here saying S tier, but I feel safe. I feel safe saying high A, because you know there's going to be a lot of civs in the A tier or around that, so I'm going to have to readjust. But is China better than Brit? Could be, but my bias head says it's just underneath at the moment. I was a bit iffy on the Brits at the time being. Going down to the C tier, and it is tough playing the Portuguese on the land map. It's just tough. There's things it does right. There's things that once you grow into the game, you finally feel that you're getting there, but it always feels a challenge just to get to the 8-minute mark. Portuguese is in a very iffy position, but you kind of have to try and go fast age 1 just to get pressure on age 2. The earlier pressure on age 2 isn't substantial, but it's pretty pushback with the opponent. And you do have a decent window on the crate eco to make something happen, so you're trying to make good use of that. Maybe a Portuguese FF, not yet fully explored. We've kind of gone back into map control. I've seen people still doing Eco Theory Spice Trade, or Eco Theory 700 Wood, or 700 Wood Spice Trade, kind of playing that. It's options, defensive play, maybe the lowest of low B tier, but there's a lot of other civs here to kind of put into, and yeah, we might have a kind of a normal distribution around the B tier. Is kind of what I'm hoping for, so we'll leave it there for the time being. Things I think the Portuguese could get buffed on. I think we give Portuguese 100 gold to start as well. For free, no give or take. 100 coin encourages the market start that just a little bit more. So if you still want to go for your Portuguese 10-10, you can. If you want to go house market, I think you can, and I think that's going to help you there. I don't really believe the 100 coin will make Portuguese super broken. It might help you get that final 1 extra Haas. I think Portuguese is also a very high skill ceiling Civ, so maybe. Yeah, no. I appreciate the points there. I appreciate the points. It's a minor change. If there was a 50, if there was a 50 coin crate icon, you would give it to the Portuguese. There you go, Portuguese. You once had hunting dogs given for you, but now we're going to give you the resources for you to actually research it yourself to get hunting dogs, and that might help it there in a little bit. But I feel that the organ guns age 2, the shipment is underwhelming. You know, organ guns are very similar to Gatling guns. People say Gatling guns are always cheaper, so they have more. BS. They have the same role, they have the same pivots, and having 3 over 2 is such a huge difference. I like to see Portuguese having a 3 organ gun shipment, even if it costs 200 gold. It's instead of just having an underwhelming shipment, I like to see Civs do have a star shipment, and in the third age, I don't know what the Portuguese star shipment is, because it certainly ain't 8 Castador. It does a job, I guess. Can't go Mams super early. 5 Goons is just standard play, your bread and butter, and apart from that, I guess it's just forts. You build a fort, TC's in the back, churning out villas on a high resources map, and you play for time. But 3 organs is kind of how I want to do that. Late game, I think I could nerf, maybe like there's some general discussions, like maybe taking down Bastion HP to the 5k range or 6k range flat instead of 6.5, but that's really minor. Portuguese is a civ which loves advanced fortifications, so I use that to great use already. I think Portuguese earn the right to go to late game, and I don't really want to take away a civ's really only strength where I don't have to. Is Portuguese water overbusted? Not anymore, due to the nerfs to the dock and the TC, and I feel that it's in a playable state and a playable state to play against it, and I'm happy with that position for the Portuguese. Ooh. Let's go with Burlatex. Pick a civ. Burlatex, pick a civ. What should I talk about now? I feel I've covered a bit of a range here. We just kind of get things. How to nay is Eero. It's between B and A. I think, guys, I want you to think of this as A tier, A plus tier, A minus tier, B tier, C tier. Like, is Sweden a D tier civ? Now they're probably not D tier. D tier means they're hopeless in everything, and they're not hopeless in everything. They got something. But if I was to somehow be able to change this, I can. Oh, beautiful. We'll do that. Okay, where's my enter? Yeah. No, am I missing something? Yeah. Exit. Okay, that's fine. Oh, I can just type it here. Okay, we'll do that. We'll do that. Oh. That makes it a bit more easier for you guys to understand where I'm going from. Can't use YouTube? Yeah, I can do it for you, man. Because you've asked, I'll do it for you. It's a simple export button. And something for you to watch, but yeah, I'd do that. Okay, how to say is the Houdanays, the Mayonnaise, the Iro, the native guys in mid somewhere New Yorkish, the guys who sound very depressive when they speak. Oh yeah, okay, oh yeah, sure, oh. Just so you play, I'm thinking, wow, it must be boring to play these guys. There's like no emotional character with any of these speaking. It's just there. It's a decent civ. It's a solid pick. It does the job pretty well in most situations. I don't think it excels at anything specific at the moment. The Eero FF, or the Eero Semi FF, is the way to go, and we'll probably see a lot of Semi FF civs in the similar range because it's very easy to have judge the strength of a civ in a Semi FF war versus other Semi FF civs. So it's kind of where we go in. Risolo's going T-S could be A++, C could be A-. Yeah, it could be anything. It's just we're just acknowledging that there's certain bands, and the difference between the bands are arbitrary to how much you think it is, but it is. Anyway, Eero, they have their water start reduced. The starting age dock nerfed quite a lot, so they got the dock up later. And then by the time they actually invested in the fishing boats, it really did hurt the age up time. Good change. Nothing wrong with that. Absolutely fine. In the sense that it encouraged options. Even on maps like Savannah, Korea, sometimes Eros still don't go water and they play more standard, which is fine. Gives them options. It's not a one build order. They do like maps of livestock, the early farm travois, the XP you get from the farm travois, the potential upgrades in transition, but they are expensive, so it's not like, oh my god, this is so broken. But having a free livestock pen which actually works. Like the Chinese livestock pen is nerf. It fattens animals so much slower thanks to I think in RE it was even slower than standard traditional livestock pens, but in EP it was nerfed even more, and that change has remained ever since. A right change, I'm not complaining, but I'm just stating the obvious here that if you're in Mongolia and you have yaks, you can get like 8 fat yaks as you hit up to the 3rd age, and you have such a huge power spike, it's quite unreal. It's another civ with the Gavret, the furry mines, trading furries for gold. That sounds like something Rosallo would do on the weekend, trading furries for gold. The Threeville Politicians Age 2 seems a little... It's not overly strong. It is strong. I mean, you wouldn't send it if it was 2 vills, and if it was 4 vills, it would all be crying, but it'd be OP broken. Like for all this time, like Germans had 1 settler wagon, Russia's had 2 villagers, and that's kind of had their own change. So the 3 vills is probably fine in that sense. And they do get up. They are susceptible to raids in Age 2. Sometimes they do 5 tomahawks, but they can't really go early canyons. If you go the canyon shipment, they kind of slow age up time. So they are exposable. The rushing potential Age 2, I think they could rush more. It's a civ which used to rush all the fucking time in RE, and we always used to love watching. Oh, and here we go, Ottoman versus Iroquois on the RE patch, and we see early TP for both players, and we see the Ottomans here opening up with 700 food, going for the double X Jan spam, and the Hodge Era guys going for 7 Aena opening into 4. It's just massive rush on both players all the time. Defeating an Era rush was like the greatest things you could do in RE player. It was just such an accolade. Like, yes, I've used the Chinese Mandarin Duck Squad to beat an Era player, and he was furious. Musket Riders were nerfed. Their armor resist was reduced to 25%. They're not the greatest units to trade in a Dragoon war. They're expensive, and obviously you don't get the actual bonus versus Dragoon on Dragoon, so you kind of miss out on the extra, the higher damage base that you expect with a strong unit like the Musket Rider. They give up eco for their war dance, fair enough, and they're quite weak to falconets, so I think it's a solid civ. And yeah, Seapoy, the guy's asking for India. No. I call the shot. I ask people to suggest, oh, go on then, Seapoy guy, because I did accuse you of stream sniping, and India is a real shockingly average sim, which does actually pretty well. I mean, once she actually sends the shipments, oh yeah, it's actually pretty good. A tier, A plus tier. You thought I was going low, but no, it's a really good civ. I think some people would argue that it's going to be above it, but China, India, they are very similar at the moment in terms of strength. They do things differently, but you'd be very comfortable to pick either civ in most matchups these days, and I'm quite happy in that position. As I think says, you're like one of the best India players. Like, what's going on here? Okay, maybe that's interesting that you guys are saying that it is onto this territory. I think it's fine because maybe I'm used to the broad aspect of having an S tier, an A tier, and a B tier, and I've always put India A tier. But I've always put the A tier, then down the A tier, because I'm always saying like, well, every time I play versus Dutch, they don't look good. They don't look special. India, they do struggle versus the semi-FF civs. Now, I know a lot of people say that, yes, they have like the most Minutemen in the game. They have Asian spears, Asian rifles, Ottoman minutes, Ottoman huss, a big fort, a TC, and 2 elephant explorers. But still, for some reason, that if you try to age up, you're aged up a minute behind another civ, and they roll in with 2 shipments, and you're having trouble holding. The Indian Rush, Seapoys, 180 HP, is probably the biggest nerf that they've ever had. It makes any colonial age play quite tough. I think it's fair. I think it's justified. It's always obnoxious having sepoy rushes earlier in the game to deal with. But it's not like India has bad rushes, because they can mix it in with camels, sours, for the elephants to tank as well. We go all eagle mat style, getting some Rajputs. I wouldn't recommend that, but it is an option. But essentially, you can go open five sepoys and then go straight into Gurkhas. And I think the 5 sepoy into 5 Gurkhas is something people should try a little bit more. It gives you a bit more utility while trying to deal with heavy infantry as you send in your cavalry. So if you push in with 7 musk, 5 Gurkha, 4 sours, 2 elephants, that 8 bike shipment from, let's say, Dutch is looking rather silly right now, and you can deal with that very, very easily. Sepoy guys saying A- is fair, and I'll leave it there. We'll see how crowded it gets. I might have to push it up if it gets crowded, because I feel this territory is getting crowded. Speaking of crowded, Germany. What are we saying? A tier, A- or A+? Like, it's definitely one of these two. It's not higher, it's not lower. It's a super solid civ. Does struggle versus potential H2 Musk players. I do struggle versus Russia with the Germans, but if you get the opportunity to play Germany against a player who's playing standard, then Germans gets to shine through, and shine through they do. Strong shipments there. XP penalty was actually buffed as well. They have access to the church, so it's not all doom and gloom. Decent eco, like a really decent eco as well. And even in late game, they have options to shine with the 6 settler wagon, like the greatest eco shipment in the game. Shame you can't really fit in Germantown farmers in the 3rd age, but the Polish winged hussars, 2 heavies, give it late game utility, but it's kind of the fortress age where they shine. 9 Ulan, 3 war wagon plus 3 Ulans, the skirmishers with the Ulans. I think actually trying to get in the early coin shipments earlier than usual actually works quite well for the Germans in Age 3. Cav combat works miracles. Everyone says, people are saying Germany's S tier, but is Germany better than Spain? Is Germany better than the British at the moment? I just can't. I wouldn't put my money on it. Some games, yes. Sometimes you're watching Kaiser Klein play Germans, you're thinking nothing's gonna compare. It's just absolutely insane. But no, I think it's fair. Now it's in the A tier, and I have to suggest Nurse or Civs in the A+ tier to get to A-. And did I say anything there for China? Oh, I didn't say how I would nerf China. This is tough. I haven't actually thought about it, so I was expecting to kind of put this like a solid civ, no changes, but the tea leaves is quite a big card at the moment, and it provides so much extra utility. They did ruin the French consulate for both India and China as a result. I don't know why they ruined it. That's such a bad call. Maybe just have a plus 50 export. Getting your block house basically for free instantly every game. Bit of a gimmick. Can't really rush that. I don't really know how else I'd do it. Otherwise, you start looking to kind of unit damage, maybe chain down attack, just that tone down just a little bit. You want to be able to have units which can micro quite well. Sometimes the Chinese Z move. Iron Flare was very high HP. They're very tanky cavalry. That's another one that's caught my eye out. I think Flares somehow just do a little bit better job than Meteor Hammers. The Germans, how I would nerf the Germans. We're in dodgy territory because we've been through this argument so many times, and we've even had people say, "Oh yeah, nerf the 3 settler wagons to 2 settler wagons in 1 ville." I'm like, no, it's an ugly change. We've had some creative ones like 7 skirm 3 Ulans and 8 skirm 2 Ulans. That's an interesting one, but it doesn't quite. Do you just add an extra half percentage point to the experience trickle there for the Germans? I think with Spain you can decrease XP just a little bit, because sometimes it's a little bit silly in places. I'm gonna look at you guys. I need to see what you guys are saying, because I don't really I don't know what actually I can think of as a fair nerf. Berlatex is saying, isn't the 9 Ulans like 1450 res? I think it is, but it is 9 Ulans is no. It's 6+3. You got it. It's always 6+3. 6+3 is 900 res. So it's perfectly fine shipment in terms of the actual value of the 6 oil lands, but then you get the 3 on top as well. So that's where that comes in. And I think quite a lot of people go like, oh yeah, it's 9 Ulans versus just Cav Combat. But it's actually Cav Combat plus 3 Ulans plus the upgraded Ulans you get with them. So I think sometimes you can over worry about the 9 Ulan spike. I do agree, it's the power spike, makes it quite tough. 9 Ulan swing is a big swing. And it also forces you to go on the kind of the anti-cavalry quite heavy there. So yeah, boy. I don't know. I don't really feel comfortable on saying anything really, apart from Ulan HP. We've been through this argument before, but you can take off 5 HP and it still has the same amount of Hussar hits to die, so it doesn't really lose too much there. It might get a couple low HP getting picked off there, but it won't have too much of an effect. I don't know. I don't really know. When in doubt, just say well, what else can you do? You're not going to arbitrarily say, oh yeah, skirmishes for Germany will be shockingly bad now. You can play with the DOPS, but they were never super great anyway. 4.5 DOPS is something to not sleep on. They're decent. The 5 DOPS shipment can sometimes be quite clutch, especially on the the lower ends. Jaeger card, it's 12 Jaegers. That already was nerfed, and Jaeger price has increased. So, but yeah, you have Sweden with 10 Jaegers for 900 coins, so you can't give or take. It's not too there. One yes Jaeger. I don't think one yes Jaeger will hurt too much, but sometimes you just don't go Jaegers. That's not really the reason why they win the game. But hey, it is what it is. We just accept Germany for what it is, maybe. Maybe just a flat +2 on bonus for age 2 instead of increasing each age. That's not a bad idea, really. It's not actually that bad of an idea. It's actually pretty decent. But you would feel it, and you would probably need to increase the XP gather rate just a little bit just to compensate, so it doesn't feel too much. The H1 card, 2 set wagons into 1 set wagon, 1 Vil. I guess you could really. I mean, it could just be 3 Vils, because then what that does with 3 Vils knocks off 2 set wagons of your team build, but you can still get those 2 set wagons back with the German town farmers. So you don't actually feel. I think in a team game that can still hold it, but team game Germany is also a really good civ. It's tough. It's tough. Like, let's put it this way. Like, Germany, they're not on the fringes here. I'm not too worried. And some people. Let's say -5 HP for the Germans, -1 Jaeger from the 12 Jaegers to 11 Jaegers, and we'll just leave it like that and see how it goes. I think the eco shipments is quite a nice little play there for Germany. And if you are over eco in H2, well, you don't have the H3 shipment tempo, so it's kind of like that. Right, let's go for my next B tier civ, and the B tier civ I'm gonna go for is Mexico. Haven't seen enough from Mexico to say that they are great. But I will say one cheeky build I think the Mexicans can do really well is advanced trading post. Mid-map, take TP line. I think that's what Mexicans can do really well. They have the forward Hacienda. I still want the Hacienda to have their shipment points removed because it's an eco building. It's not like a jack of every single trade building. It should be limited. I don't get why you have a mill and an estate and a garrison point also having 20 slots of gathering. It just doesn't make sense. It does. I have ranted about this past and before on this channel, on the forums and on more private channels, that to build in an economy based on a 600 wheel building is criminal. It's just how does that? How do you justify that? How do you even balance that? Like, weren't people concerned, like the alarms going off when they're watching people play Mexico and go, oh my god, everyone's sending land grab as card 2. Quick, let's nerf the cards which come after land grab, but not just like remove land grab. Now you got a villager card which used to be like 18 vils, now it's like 12 vils, no one sends. Now you have Mayan Spearmen, which when you do send them, they come in way too late, they're not great, no one sends. And you just force everybody not to go for like the card, the Hacienda boom play, which they might have had imagined, just go for the fast revolt up to industrial, send in 3 frontier outposts in 5 minutes and you go to Swaggins it. Like, it's a mixed design. You can't, the thing is, the Hacienda is not a booming building, but it's the building which gave you the vills through the cards. So that's kind of how they kind of went around that. The actual gather rate from the Haciendas. Why was the base rate from the Haciendas nerfed? Like, okay, the first card of the Hacienda wagon plus 2 vills is insane, but sometimes I can take an insane card because you have Germany with 4 vills, you have Lakota with 4 vills, but nerfing the base gather rate Haciendas for not much reason. I just don't see it. I don't see it. The livestock dance on it was terrible. The outlaw dance was really good. Dancing for outlaws, it seems like it's a native thing to do, but no, it's Mexicans. It was just weird. There's lots of confused ideas in there, in the sense. But if it is how it is and it stays in the game, forward Hacienda, send your Padre to be spawned forward with on the age up there. You're chopping woods, but you've got 2 explorers now to take the TP line, and you do have. You have the extra XP as well from the crates on the age up there, so you get to send in a strong shipment progression. You do have the 10 pikes, you have the skirm shipment. I might think there's 3 soldados in age 2, but so you certainly have the 3 horses in age 2, maybe a crate play as well. You do have the barracks wagon, military wagon from the age up as well most of the time, so you do have position advantage in the middle early on to dominate, so you do have potential to kind of win a FB war by just sneaking in a quick cheeky 10 pike shipment and watch your opponent's war hut go down and go bye-bye. But yeah, trying to push a Mexican age 2 in age 2 to take down TPs with an ATP card is actually quite tough. So yeah, give caution to that. The pikeman Chinaco combination with a couple skirms, or even soldados, but a couple skirms there as well. Certainly do not underestimate that. It's pretty strong. But the revolt, if you go into the H4 revolt, your opponent can just make a couple of colves, shuts down your artillery play. They can just walk in with lots of falconets. You have 2 culverins to kind of pivot into in the H2, but I think that's doable. If you're sending in outposts, great. Your opponent can just get away with the most greedy build to the 3rd age and just get ready for what's coming. I don't really think at this level Mexico 1v1 is super scary. There's some broken stuff in it, like broken how you go about it, the game, but I don't think it's broken in terms of strength-wise. Ika's alright. It's alright. I was watching Maito play versus Minimalt. I literally just watched one game from a past broadcast, and Maito's even saying there, like, he's got no idea why people revolt with the Civ. Like, although it's a revolting Civ, it's like he says the best way to play it is play standard. You have the options. You have pikemen to pull trick your soldados. You've got pikemen to pull trick anything in the game. You've got so many of those units. I can get it, but I don't really like how you can train the pikemen in matches at 10. You just kind of breaks AoE building theory. I'll get on to that. That really pisses me off. That does. And what does that piss me off greatly? It's the United States of America, baby. It's annoying because sometimes you play that and you think, for fuck's sake, it's just insane. But they must have clear weaknesses to exploit, and I feel that an A- is a safe place for them. Things I hate about the United States. How long have we got? It's strange because they have like the Chinese immigrants and Spanish immigrants, 2 incredible age 1 cards. Any Civ would die to have those cards. They're amazing. Spanish immigrants, 1.7 XP per second. That's a TP and a church and an outpost wagon. it's just great. You have the Chinese immigrants. You can, on a 3 TP map, you can take the entire route by like 3 minutes and just deny your TP. If you're versus Germany on a 3 TP map, United States versus Germany on Ozarks, Germans got no train post. They cannot get onto the line because you just sent Chinese immigrants and you've got a 3 TP line. They're looking for their train post. They haven't got one. That's insane. That's insane. But it's maybe a bit too good. Now, for a Civ which gets XP crates on the age up, do they really need a capital building with a 300 XP build bounty which costs 300 wood and only gives 300 XP on the kill? Like, the build and the kill XP theorem, let's get all technical now in the University of Age of Empires theory. The theorem of the build kill XP is holy sacrimony. The whole game is built on it. If you build a musketeer, you get... Oh, for units, it's the same, isn't it? You get 10 XP for the build, 10 XP for the kill. But if you build a house, you get 20 XP on the build. If you lose it, it's 40. I think that's how it is, isn't it? 40 XP. It's either 10 and 20, but it might be 20 and 40. It encourages people to siege buildings, and you do get XP from the building, but that balance, that ratio of 1 to 2 is always there. And with the capital, which they've changed it so you can send that card with any age-up politician. They haven't even made Virginia even worse. They probably made it arguably better, because then you got another card which you can double your shipment count. No, not double, but like give an extra shipment. Like, that's just... I don't know why they need to do that. Because when you do send that Virginia company, you age up fast with double XP anyway. Why is it that a Civ gets to the Fortress Age and have 4 unit shipments, or 4 military shipments, back to back? How is somebody not just sat there going, is this acceptable? I think it's acceptable, mate. Is it acceptable? I think we're fine, actually. Oh, what units do they have? Oh, for a bit of food, you can get skirms and musks, and both of them upgraded. What with the artillery? We got 3 Gatlins. 3 Gatlins. That's terrible, mate. That's terrible. Let's give them a multiple shipment of Gatlins. Oh yeah. What's the second shipment going to be? 2 Gatlins. Oh yeah. You just see this, just like, oh no. And then you don't even need to build anything from the barracks. Just chop a little bit of wood, get a little bit of food, and you go look at your opponent's composition and go, do I want Royal Goons or Royal Uhlans? Both cavalry. Don't need to train a stable. I've got infantry, I've got artillery, and all I need is something to deal with the cavalry, whether it's hand cav blocking and dicing up in close combat, which is what Uhlans do well, or Armand's Legion to do the same thing from a little bit of a distance. It's just, that's, the amount of XP you get is just a little bit silly, but overall, yeah, with a good play though. There's some civs just can't deal with like 5 shipments back to back, and I was trying to explain to Jailed that the United States FF is just a better version of the Portuguese FF. He thought that FF was like the best FF in the game. It's like, no, oh no, not even close. And I think United States 5 shipment spam or 4 shipment spam H3 is just a simple way to play. If you've never played it, that's the build order. You got your units, you got your artillery, you're on the push, and you can do fine. How's it saying? I think Germany does fine versus Spain though. That's okay, because we got an A+ tier doing well versus an S tier Civ. Yeah, when I say well, I mean competing with. But can India compete with Spain? Can Ports compete with Brit? That's the kind of that's the area. My opinion, at the 1600 elo, I'm biased at 1600 elo. Hazard, I'd love to see you do a 22 elo version, or 2200 elo version if you like. Oh, United States. Oh my God, this is. I haven't even gone to the Californian card, have I? A card which gives you Vils spawning faster than Ottoman TCs. Faster spawning Vils than Ottoman TCs for free at a 5k gold mine in base. What are they thinking? How is it still in the game? How is it still in the game? They spawn faster than Ottoman TC Vils. If they spawn slower or if they spawned at the same rate as Age 1 Ottoman Vils, I can go, I get that. Fair enough. Fine. But they spawn like like the was it like double mosque shipments? It might be triple mosque tech TCs at this point. It's silly. Okay, if you take out the 5k gold mine and leave it just the spawn and vills, I will accept it. I'd go, you know what? Interesting. Let's do it. Let's play around that. See if you can make it work. But the 5k gold mining base means that you've always got units, your villagers doing something as they get made for the next 5 minutes. It's just, you've always got trees, you've always got gold, so you've always got artillery, a little bit of food. You're not spending food now on villagers, you're spending food now on units. So you go through your berries and hunts less. It's just piss poor game decision. Breaks the game, breaks the thing. I just really dislike it. Merlin saying, why is it an A- tier? Well, I think it's documented. If you play somewhat heads up aggressive versus United States, maybe go for a timing push H3, there's ways to get into it. And is China a better civ than the United States? I think it is. Is Germany a better civ than the United States? I think it is. I think India apparently probably do counter the United States quite well, but that's the kind of level I think we're at the moment. Oh god, this could ruin the entire video. Let's have a look. Oh, I don't disagree with that. I get so sad every time I see that card. I'm like, is this what Aoe3 has become? Alright, okay. Next civ. What should we do? 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 What happened to Dutch law? Okay, let's do Dutch. It's bang average. It's bang average now. I always thought it was like the top of the A tier. I could justify if some people says S, but now with a food crate nerf and XP nerf on the banks, really hurting their tempo, is bang average because they were always exploitable. You could always go must cost pressure versus them. If you're the British, just bow pike it. Forward tower, get 5 longbows out. Then maybe get 5 pikes to cover if they go stable, then 5 more bows, and then all of Dutch villas they can't gather. The skirms trade so poorly. They're in trouble at this moment in time. Dutch versus British. Brit going VC boom. You go 5 huss. You go 3 vills, 700 wood, bank, stable on the 700 wood for a real decent like mixture of eco and military, but because you're going equal, should I say, balanced of eco and military, by the time you get to Brit's base, it's just too late. Too many vills, 5 pikes or 5 musker out. They could even do a cav opening as well, Brit. And you're dealing with a town centre fire, outpost, equal units, you can't get anything done. Can't do that, not good enough. 4 bank FF, you could do that, but your third shipment, which is your 4th shipment in the game, 3rd shipment H2, so you go through 700 wood, bank, that 600 wood is so delayed. And if somebody's pushing you at that moment in time and you need CM or 8 pikes, having a delayed shipment there is brutal. It really is tough. Now, I'm not saying, this makes it a terrible civ. It's a good civ. It's bang average, and that's good. We want civs in the bang average territory. Between Dutch and United States, it probably is a bit even Stevens. Civs have different strengths and weaknesses in different places, and I think at the moment, if objective is to get in civs to A-, they've called it right. They've called that change right. And I'm even fine to say that. I don't mind saying that my beloved Dutch and banks nerfed. I don't mind that. 50 food in H1, kind of justified because they have an extra crate compared to other civs. I know that their villas cost gold, and most of their coin crates in H1 are gold, but they have an extra bit of resources compared to other civs. It's justifiable. It's proportionate. Half the bank costs food. Is it right to have buildings cost food have that same kind of XP return? The more you think about it, it probably isn't, and probably Dutch were a bit too good. Did Dutch feel ridiculous? No, because they had weaknesses, and it's good that civs have weaknesses. we might see some civs which have no weaknesses. They get higher up because if you've got no weakness, you can't really play to their problems. And I just think the Dutch at the moment in that similar position, they shine late middle game when resources run low. Dutch are absolutely fine. A civ which doesn't need to make any plantations if they eventually get to 5 bank, 2 factories, and sending in the Vil bank cards. We're just, I think it's 100 and 110. 100, it's either 140 from 180 or 110 from 140. It's that area. 105, yeah, 105 from 140. It's 75%. So basically, each food is worth a half XP. Each wood is still 1 XP. So at that level, and it's only 35 XP. It just adds a couple of seconds to a few shipments, which then slows down that boom. I always talk about the scaling factor of Civ. So if you affect the scaling potential of a Civ, you really do hurt it that a little bit more there. Let's see what the next Civ. What's the worst Civ here? Is there a Civ here? They're all pretty good. Actually, no, I see one what I think is pretty not good. And that's the French. I mean, is French better than Iro? They're basically the same Civ. A lot of people, I mean, if Kaiser was here, he'd be like, oh, easy S tier. They're the greatest Civ in the world. Shocking accent, but Kaiser would be fine putting them A tier, but they're just the jack of all trades, master of none, and at this lower level, I'd still have to say I'm kind of on this balance. Like, I kind of want to see like an even spread of civs up and down. That's what I'm trying to go for. I'm going to try and go for like another nice amount of, like, maybe not C tier, but from B to S, like a nice even spread of civs. I feel comfortable putting French stronger than Mexico and very close to the Hausa. Oh, your Japan hate will come. Oh, tell me about it. Well, I mean, it's hard to say. I mean, there's mixture of there's mixture of. Is it though? Is French really A tier? The thing is, I'm putting a B tier because I'm advocating here on today's stream. I want to see the French getting their food crate back. I want to see French going back to their 1210s. I want to see French have a decent age 1 again, because sometimes you play your age 1 as correctly as you can and you're still idled on 13 vills and you're thinking, fuck my life, this is shocking. Can't really 14 vil these days, but I would like to see that food crate buff there for the French, and I think it's justified. I really think it's justified. French is so strong, played right, but so is every civ, I feel. I think there are some civs that you can exploit a little bit more. You know, to keep your haters on my side, I will put it on A-, because I suppose it does actually. It justifies my philosophy. We want to go for a normal distribution shape. We want more civs around that A- tier than any other place. But I'm definitely put it on the bottom side of A-. Okay, so we'll leave it like that. No, but is France with 13 vil just stupid strong though? Because it's not. Why don't we sit in the ladder at the moment? Why has Passy dropped from 1800 elo down to like 1500 elo flat? Because he's been playing the French. It's just, that is unequivocal proof. Okay, that probably proves that Brit's a bit too strong. Don't at me, Passy. It's true. It's true. You were like, oh, Harrison, I'm a top 30 player. I've broken 1900. I'm like, Passy, well done. A week later, it's like, Passy, what's happened? I don't know, man. I don't know. Because he's bad. Well, Gratz being back at 1700, but French, A-. They're not terrible. You have to play them right versus every civ. You have to have good game knowledge to play versus each civ. When you're playing the French, you are playing your opponent. You are not playing to your civ's game. You're playing to your opponent's game. You've got to be on point with that. And do I think it's any stronger than other civs? Not really. If you make a mistake in a matchup, quite often it is game losing. So I'm happy with my A-T that I'm saying it's the same tier as Dutch and India. I think that's fair, okay? Don't hate me that one. Maybe it's a little bit, maybe it's just a little bit down. Dunga. We'll go for Russia. Now, I was saying, has Russia snuck into S tier? And I don't think it's the case, but this is the thing, because at higher level, people will say like Russia's bad, but at lower level, Russia just climbs higher and higher and higher. And for me, I feel very. If I was going to say the easy way out, I'd say that Russia tops A- tier, but it's in between these two. It has to be in between these two. And the thing is, if I put Russia A- tier, then I'm bringing French back down. I don't see them in the same tier at the moment. Now I know the French-Russia matchup is always been a tricky one for. But when people say like, is like the French-Russia matchup, is it French favour? I'm like, is it? Is it really? You can't huss it if you go French, because just Cossack mask there from Russia does it so well. And the thing is, with Russia, what the changes they made, it's really hard because they changed the scaling factor of Russia to be scaling even more. So even if they spent even longer now in H2 trading, they're getting even more scary. As soon as the game goes past 13 minutes versus Russia, you've lost. It's just one of those things. And if you do get to the fortress stage and you're playing later on, Russia just need 2 town centres and they're producing villas as if they've got like 3.5, let's say. It's silly in that sense. You got like Russia 265 food per batch, where the Dutch is like 100 gold per vil individual. Like there's a clear difference, and just that scaling happens so well. They trade so well. The 2 blockhouse middle of the map. How do you push 2 blockhouse without falconets? Can you get to the fortress age? Or if you're aging up, you're gonna be under big pressure. You better defend well, and that's where if you're a great player, you can defend well. But I think at that level, I'm putting Russia above those civs, and we'll have a special category called the Russia. I'm the Russian bot player. The thing is, I could justify putting most of these civs into the AMIs and just be like a bit of a wimp and call it a day, but no, we will persist and we'll play on. Ooh, the laming with the Hausa has to be up there. I don't even care if Hausa is a bad civ. I don't even care if Hausa is a good civ. What I do care is badly designed civs and civs which do not fit the game in any sense of the word. It is shocking to see how this civ was designed and how it's got through. I'm looking for Hausa's weaknesses in H2. Let's have a look. Let's have a look and see what units Hausa get in the H2. Now, this does also apply to Ethiopia, but Ethiopia maybe not the same level of Hausa. Right. Drum roll. We have the Explorer. We have the second Explorer, if you go for the second Explorer card. We have the Fulani Archer. Okay, there's the fingers there. That's 3. Fulani Archer. We have Desert Raiders. 4. Light Cavalry, Siege Cavalry. We have Javelin Riders. 5. Dragoons in H2 with a 5 times multiplier in hand combat. I think it's 5. At least it's 4. But in hand combat. Hand combat, they shred. Like, it's just, you can't go cavalry versus Javelin Riders. It's a unit in the game which just makes you just say, no, I can't go that. I'm going to be very polite here and put the entire Desert Outlaws as 1. I don't want to go any more than 1, because you can go Desert Archer, Infantry, and Camel Raider, but I'm going to be polite here and say it's just 1 unit. Let's just have that. Sudanese Dervish up to 7. Yoruba Legionnaires up to 8. Up to Berber Desert Camels up to 9. Now, Akans 10. Now, I know they're influence shipments, but it's not like they have other shipments to send. That is their shipment. Why send a unit shipment for nothing when you can send a unit shipment for 500 influence, which you generate, and you get lots of influence because you're playing Hausa, and you get a bigger bang for your buck shipment. It's just one. It's like why I think India is actually strong in situations is when you have in H3 and you have 500 food, you don't just get a unit shipment. You get some elephants. You get some Urumi. You get a big power spike. You get 2 siege elephants, like a great ship, like an amazing shipment. That's a Hausa 5 times over in the second age. Some civs like Dutch only have pikes and hussars for the military. Hausa is a long list of choose whatever the fuck you like and move in. We got the toot toots. We got motherfucking toot toots. What's 11? Support units, attack units, healing units. They do everything. They don't get countered by falconets. They have high HP. They just tank. They're just there. They're just. Why do we need toot toots? Can we at least have an option to turn off the music? Because I don't need to listen to. It's just motherfucking Lafidi Knights. Why do we need a high HP unit with melee and range resist? Having both just makes no sense. It just ruins the counter system. And the thing is, with all these units, 12, 13, whatever, just take your pick. Get a composition. Have no weaknesses. Have all grounds covered. Because you're Africa. You're paid DLC. That's what you can do. You have the luxury and liberty to do whatever you like. You just wake up in the morning and go, I feel like just going pure javelin riders and just owning people. Fuck it, do that. Make an army with 50 javelin riders and win versus bow riders. Lakota, you just, sure, why not? Oh, if I want to go outlaw time, yeah, I can do that. Sell a couple of cows at the market for massive amounts of coin. Ship in the outlaw shipments, and there you go. You got your old tower rush back. The fact is, people don't expect that these days, but it still probably has the same benefits. It's just, well, you spelt that one wrong, haven't you, Lionheart? Organism. No, I'm not a biology teacher. I don't have plants in my bedroom. Fucking retard. Holy shit. If you don't have your mod badge, I'll time your ass right about now. What a fail. Yeah, Dervish having faster rate of fire up close, which means realistically, if you're trying to counter them with cavalry, you're getting countered yourself. Soft countered. Makes no sense. There's so many of the African units. Okay, the African units on their own is like a problem, but the fact that they cost influence for House, which they generate basically for free, is the problem. Is they get them and they can. Oh, I want to go this unit, but I'm really weak to musketeers. Do I have a card which can kill musketeer? Oh, I do. It's like Spain. Like, right, I'm Dutch. I get to choose whether I want to have Hausa, pikes. Oh, I've got a skirmishipment now. And for the fun of it, I can call 6 musks from just six musks because I can. Might as well, just to kind of counter all your weaknesses. So yeah, get 5. Let's get a 5 vet halberdier card for H2 for Dutch, just to cover their weakness. Yeah, might as well go for it. That's what Hausa is, and it's really obnoxious. They have forts in H2. They build around trading posts. There's quite a few times all these trading posts are close together, and it's map dependent. And have we mentioned the fact that you're building an ecosystem around livestock means that some maps it's just unfair. It's just not even. Just imagine loading into a game of Mongolia versus Hausa, and you're playing, let's say, as. Let's say you're playing as the United States. Hausa versus the United States on Mongolia. You got a cavalry explorer. You got a market which trades all these food for like wood and gold. It grants you so much influence. Oh, just the thought of that is insane. It's just absolutely crazy. And Hausa can just realistically... I think the game would be better if they're gone, but I understand it's for single-player boys who just want to play... or want to do a different strategy every single game. Quick search is not safe. If Hausa gets even more popular, we're back to the times of quick search not being safe. And it wasn't safe when Inca was running the ladder, and it wasn't safe when pre-Nurse Sweden were running the ladder. Yeah. Yeah, no, I agree that tomato plant. I think French can do it back. I'd rather give Portuguese a coin crate than the food crate back because I want to encourage people to do a market age 1 instead of the 10-10. But yeah. Has to be. Ottomans have just kept on rising recently. The mosque has been buffed quite a few times recently, and it does provide them with such a strong XP base. The units are strong, the shipments are strong, the bottle FF is always strong, but There's so many plays you can do. They have options on water, options on ATP. They've got a great rush, great fortress, and now they can outboom some civs. And did you see Soldier's game last night versus Rookie? I think Rookie was playing under the name of Crab, but wow, it just Soldier's like, how am I not winning this? And it's just like, well, you can't outboom Otto as Otto if you're not fully booming as Otto. It's just one of those. He couldn't keep up, and the score just diversion is just so frustrating. And it's another situation of having the balance being a bit iffy with spawning villagers for free, especially when you get more than 3 town centres at a time. Do we remove the 1 town centre card there from Ottoman? Is that possible? Surely 3 town centres and 3 mosque techs is enough. There's not really much more to say. I forgot my nerfing comments and buffing comments. So Hausa, how to nerf Hausa? Well, delete it from the game. Okay, that's my nerf there. Ottomans, how to nerf Ottomans? I think it's the building play. I like aggressive Ottomans. I like map control Ottomans. I don't really like the fortress Ottomans, but it is in the game, and that's their bread and butter. That is. Jan, Mams, Falks, bread and butter business, that is. But Civs can deal with that. Civs can work around and plan for it. But 13 outposts, 4 town centre, weird stuff. A lot of people say you can deal with it, but the thing is, I've tried playing a great fortress age civ like the Dutch. I've been trying to take down outposts, been trying to curtail them into their base, and I just suck. I can't do it. And I got raided by cavalry archers, which melt villagers with once they have their irregulars card on them. It's just insane. And then obviously have the cav combat as well, but they don't necessarily need it. But I find Ottoman in a very strong position. I even remember the game of Rogod versus Lionheart, Grand Chaco versus Dutch. Dutch's home map, their best map, versus Ottomans, probably one of their weakest maps. Only 1 scout, can't really get the livestock. Crushed. Just what it is. Oh my god, thank you! I want to go back to Hausa. Oh. Ooh. The rage is building up. Why the fuck do they have auto-teching units? Not just some units, but all the units in the world auto-teching. We were making the argument of if Hausa gets to the fortress age, all their native units become elite. I'm like, okay, bit annoying. I can deal with that. They go to the industrial age, all of their units become elite, and it's just like, super, super, super annoying. Well, champion. And then when you see Hausa popping out field guns, heavy horse artillery, Carbon Royales, and you're thinking, that motherfucker hasn't paid for that. He hasn't even had to wait for the upgrade. He's just getting sets of artillery already upgraded. And then you age up to the 5th age, and then you just realise, it dawns on you, Hausa have imperial natives for every native there is, and every set of cannon. They essentially get 15,000 worth of resources in terms of upgrades instantly on the age up. So that means they don't have to go, oh, what unit should I upgrade here? They go, oh, let's go into the palace. What imperial unit should I train now for free while I upgrade my eco and get the eco upgrades? Spend the resources on that, train a couple units, make free imperial shit. And then you're they're going, oh, this Hausa guy's got imperial culverins. Can I go? I can't go culverins now. He's also got imperial horse archers. I can't go scout. I need something. Just get rolled over. This also upgrading bullshit. Do you remember the was it the Yoruba clones? That cavalry Yoruba age 4 shipment. What a meme was that? Age 4 cavalry, insane. Which they just shouldn't be upgraded to the 4th age, but it's African. It's just no other civ has this stuff, especially in the natives and these exotic units. Why doesn't Lakota or Howd get free upgrading natives? That would actually play to their flavour by quite a bit. I'd actually enjoy that. I think that'd be a nice change. But now apparently the Africans are the best to align with Native Americans and Native Asians, I don't know. I don't get it. The cow trading is a joke. The livestock is a joke. Their unit range is a joke. Their auto upgrading is a joke. The civ is a joke. It's just a joke. It's really poorly designed in the sense that it's just like a bit. It's like making a cocktail. It's like making a drink. You're not just making a drink for your girlfriend or for your mother. You're getting the bucket out for the boys, and you're going, "Hey, welcome to the cocktail show. I'm gonna put one bottle of vodka in here, one bottle of cherry in there, one bottle of cola in there, a bit of dark rum, bit of this, bit of that. Shake it all about. There you go. There's a bucket of everything thrown into it. You deal with it." It's like apparently like Hausa, he's got his strong units called the Magadais, like muscle units, but you don't see Magadais because they can just send Yoruba, Akans. They've got good archers. It's just they got anything and everything. Oh, Harrison doesn't like the Africans confirmed. Yes, too right, absolutely too right. And something else I don't like is Japanese, but A+ is maybe doing a bit too much justice at the moment. But I hate them so much. Oh my god, this is tough. Let's put them there. Let's put them there. 99 problems with Japan. Somebody did a front ESOC on that, and I can highly recommend 60. But there's a few I really want to pick out. Both explorers poofing at the same motherfucking time. You cannot punish that. There is no way you can try and outplay your opponent in H1. There's nothing you can do. You snare one, you think you've got them, he goes off, it's like, okay, but your other body's only got 50 HP because he's taken the treasure really badly. You try and snare, oh, you've gone off. Okay, that's annoying. They got such a great crate start these days. The H1 used to be quite tough, they'd be very crate dependent, but now they always guaranteed a good start. They've kept their best crates, Samari, while other civs are kind of like starting to lose their best crates. Like Japan's like just started going like, oh, I've still got my crates. Don't look at me. Don't look at me. Ashies at 4.5 speed. You know what? They're annoying, but I can kind of just about take it. Like, but it's the China could be higher. I mean, we'll find out. We'll find out. I think it's roughly getting everything in the right place at the moment. This list has been whacked for a while. Well, I mean, I like to see. I mean, it's up for debate. No one is an expert, and if we had an expert, we'd certainly be putting them to do the balance, because it's a very hard task to balance. Like, do you know how badly they've balanced Age of Empires 4? Well, this is like a really asymmetric game, and you know, it's. I give credit for where we are at the moment, but we can always keep going. Ashies are really good, but I think for me, what I find really annoying or not is how good Ashi Nagi is as a composition. I've always said this, like this Nagi, Iron Flail, Lancer, that style of unit, they're so tanky. Nagi's, I think it's like 300 HP base with a 30% range resist. Very, very strong. They also have like a 28 hand attack with small multipliers versus skirmishers, but they stand up to hand cav and they punish any skirmishers they touch. It's like the best of both worlds. They stand around, they tank so much. They tank while their high attacking infantry of Ashi and Yumi behind just rip through your army. The army is so strong. It's the late game in H2, one of the strongest H2 armies there is. It's just one of those things that every time like somebody plays Ashi Nagi versus me, I'm just like, oh, GG, sorry I can't micro like a 2.4k elo player and try and micro my way out of this. And so sometimes you just, as soon as you get snared, it's like, well, the game is over. One Naginata can just kill 8 skirms. It's like, we're in trouble here. The eco is continuous. The shrines are obnoxious at worst, but game breaking at best. Do we need to have explorers building shrines? I mean, I know it's that's one thing I'd always consider. I guess it's part of the DNA now, but certainly the poofing around all this. Yeah, just trying to Urland raid Japan monks in H2. It's not even worth the effort, because you try and catch it one and they poof back straight away. It's super annoying. Double 4 Japan consulate. spending their constant on units. Shinobi no Monos can go into stealth. Clubs are pike infantry with range resist and are massive multipliers versus cavalry. Like, they're like jacked up super pikemen with steroids. It's unbelievable. Crazy. But it's like 7% attack boost flat on all your units. Now that is something I think could change. I would be fine if it was like a 2% attack in age 2, 4 in age 3, 6 in age 4, 8 in age 5. We could go 4, 6, 4 in age 2, 6 in age 3, 8 in age 4, and 10 in age 5. I think the age 5 does need a bit of work, and everyone cries about, oh, Japan is bad in treaty. It's like, well, just fucking give them more vills then. Don't cut them off at 75 vills, give them 80 vills, give them 82 vills. Change the vill to an arbitrary number until you're happy that the balance is there. There you go, off you go, do it. If you lower the speed, got to lower the cost. Yeah, you know, Ashes, I think they're 80 food, 40 gold. I think they are quite expensive, but it's just what they are. They do their job well, and has made many people quit the game of Age of Empires 3. But for Japan, you know, is Japan better than Germany, Brit these days? It's close. It's close. I feel that the bands are tightening. The bullshit's still there in places, but the grip of actual balance is tightening. I'm like, the more I look at this, the more I'm liking it. I feel I'm eyeing this up and feel visualized. Now against the Civs, I really just don't know too much. Don't like. I mean, Lakota, I've got to bet A+. It's an easy Civ, easy macro, easy micro, easy Z move, strong bow riders, good build orders, 4 vil, 5 vil, great hunt, 700 gold age, or 4 vil, 5 vil, gold age, or 4 vil, 5 vil, 4 axe, gold age, and just play. Early age 3 timings are insane with this Civ, and the amount of mental pressure you have knowing that your opponent or you yourself have got Cav Explorer, 5 bow riders, 4 axe riders, just prowling around, waiting for your hunt to run out, and just go in there, attack, sting like a little python, and just retreat. In, out. And yeah, I'm sure everyone's had bad experiences playing versus Lakota, but it has to be good. You've got options in H2. They've got motherfucking cowboys in H2. We always talk about, people be talking about how cowboys are ridiculous. They actually have access to cowboys in the second age. Just no one hasn't really used that yet. They have even the Pistolero card, which I thought was a decent card in RE days. You know, they have the Gunslinger equivalent, which I guess it's like a buffed version. Yeah, it's just a Gunslinger with a double poof attack as a special charged ability. So yeah, they have options there. It's just a really easy Civ. It's a low APM Civ, I'd say, so I think it's a good Civ if you're struggling to get the Ws. Lakota is always going to be there crushing people. Cav Combat, War Dance, Dog Soldier Big Button. Come on, it's just, that's where it is. Pardon me. Right. You see how we're getting this, like, lovely normal distribution? I think we're getting there now. I think we're nearly there. Aztec spin to win. It's strong. It's not super strong. It is playable around. It's A-, but where an A-, it's, I don't think it's better than Russia. I think I want to let go here. I have a feeling of letting go here is going to do it some justice. I'm looking at the chat for just for a little bit of assistance. I'm going to let go here. Better than USA? Is it? Obviously, they play very differently. Is Aztec better than Japan in the matchup? Maybe. So we could do something like that. Similar to Russia. Russia's really good at the moment. I don't feel 100% comfortable pushing them higher into kind of the China, Germany territory. Maybe kind of, you know, Lakota could be an A- area as well. Like, it's not certain. Like, I think if you think of this as a distribution of continuous variables instead of a binomial, instead of in a very categorical, discrete bins, we might get a bit more accurate flowing. Like, this is the kind of the flow of the strength, but the difference between Lakota and Russia is just it's very, very small, I'd say. Think of a tier list as a histogram. It completely points to rank items with any given tier. Otherwise, you'd be a full-fledged ranking of all single items. Yeah, true. I mean, yeah, it ain't true. It just adds an extra competition point, just seeing how they rank among other civs. Spin to win. 13 Skull Knight card in Age 4. Fuck you, devs. Is this a joke? Are you messing with me? They have a price tag of 250 food per unit. That is what they cost. That's what the price is assigned to them. 13, get your fingers out. That's 3.25k food if I've done my maths correct on that one. I think I have. That's just an insult. I know, or 250 gold. Even fucking worse, isn't it? Because it's so much more value then. But yeah, you have to lose 26 Skull Knights first, but you have a 7 Skull Knight shipment. You have 11 Skull Knight shipment with Skull Combat. You have to go through those shipments first, but like it's not a problem. You have 20 on Taunting Slingers to kind of do your competition well, and you have the best Dragoon in the game, the Eagle Knight Runner, which is also buffed by Knight Combat, which buffs your spin to win. You have an Explorer, which can run in, take out Falconets very, very quickly, free revive. It's just one of those, and you got late game of Aztec, be careful because you can get overrun so quickly. Early on, decent rush, decent options, and it's an all-round, a very solid civ. And with the new cars they threw in, the Kalmakirk, the other one, they have options. You can play different ways with the Aztec, and it allows you to compete, which I do give credit for. Were they ever broken to start off with? No. Did they need any changing with them? No. Do we like spin to win? Some do, but I don't. Inca, finally, last one. This has been a long one, actually. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. I can't even count. Okay, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. 20 civs. Are we at 20 civs or 21? I think we're not missing anybody. Something like that. Inca. Well, it was their fortress age, which is absolutely ridiculous. And they still have a decent fortress FF timing, but that's not really the main thing. The rest of their game is pretty decent. This civ is fundamentally changed so much that it's hard to keep track. The Chaskis are a bitch ass pain, motherfucking annoying piece of wank that is. Like, early Chaskis put so much pressure. This is going to ruin the look of the grid now. I have double line. Bow's good. Chimus are really good. Priestesses tank a bit. It's a bit of a question mark under Inca. This is not played anymore. Now that their FF build has gone, it's just gone off the ladder. I haven't really seen. They do have their forts, which I know lots of people love their forts. Their Incan forts. They love playing against it. They love hidden forts appearing out of nowhere, like a fortress on a cloud, as the game says. Their water, well, its goodness is gone. So I'm actually the more I'm thinking about it, it's tempting to bring him somewhere to A-, but I just don't think I can justify it. And actually, I'm just we'll leave it there. Enough gimmicks to make it annoying, but I don't think overall is super 100% solid at the moment. Every single game to be dominating versus every civ, it's not. When Kevin said, or somebody else, someone says that they're even more worse than Hausa, but I think Hausa is just. Inca's got flavour. It's got design. It follows some principles. It doesn't feel too. Follow Elite Rifleman. I don't actually have Twitter though, so let's pretend that didn't see that one. Inca. It's the DE civs. It's the real problem. It's the DE civs minus United States and Mexico, because at least there I can see. I've got the vision. I can see what they're doing, and actually now I'm gonna say this. I think United States is a well-designed civ. It's nice ideas there. One thing I will like to buff United States, I think they need to buff the train time on their consulate units, i.e. the Uhlans, the the Dragoons, the Grenadiers, the Majors. I think if you're going to send those cards, you need to be rewarded for doing it and trying to utilize that a little bit more. So I think that's, if I've been saying a lot of take away from the United States, but let's get into the United States. That's the train time there on those units. Inca, I don't think they needed that Chasqui buff. I hope they still have the unit shipments of Chasqui removed. Thankfully, they've gone through and reduced some of the Fortress shipment, but the Hurakas, they still pack a punch. Now, thankfully, like they nerfed the H2 Huraka play because it is, but they nerfed it in such a bad way of like, oh, let's just send this, let's make this like now cost 500 wood arbitrarily, and then just nerf the unit into oblivion. It's just in H2. It's like, well, it's not really tasteful because it's now gone from overpowered to not even usable. But H3, the bonus warrior Huraka, I think Hurakas, they've got to be more anti-artillery and less anti-skirmisher for it to be justifiable. Chimi raids are annoying. Of course they're annoying. Everything about the Civ is just annoying, and they justify their place in A+ tier. And I'm going to give you a couple of minutes to make any last changes, but I'm actually quite comfortable with my tier listing, and I'm quite happy to say this is my tier listing of the Age of Empires 3 DE 1v1 Civs. My watch is over here. On the what day is it? The 24th of February 22 at 25 minutes to 11 PM Great British time. I thank you. Well, no. Rosana's saying remove C tier, but I genuinely believe Sweden is a tier on its own. They are not good. At the moment, they are not good. There's no Civ here Sweden really wants to match against. I genuinely believe that there is a finite gap between Ethiopia and Sweden, or a finite gap between Portugal and Sweden, or any of those Civs. And I've had Garja say Mexico should be higher. I've had Hausa say that Portuguese should be higher and French. Garja saying Mexico, Ethiopia higher. Hausa saying Portuguese, French higher. But no one's really flying the Swedish flag here. It's just, I don't know. The early game really struggles at the moment. Can't offer Joe move Ethiopia to A tier as the Euro US A tier higher plus. Well, the thing is, ideally I want everybody to get A minus. We could have everybody at A plus tier and S and try and bring them down, but if we're there, we accept. But there's more things broken in the game than balance, and we have to bring multiple tiers down. I don't think the devs really want to do that, but this is where I'm looking at the moment, and I feel pretty fine. China S tier. It doesn't feel out of the question. It doesn't feel like that is too much of a jump at the moment. I mean, I did absolutely get battered by Hausa on stream then, but it's nuanced. Because the thing is, like, China's best build is still technically two villages, 700 gold, 700 wood. If you can get that without being pressured at all, you're absolutely in a great place. So I don't really want to put it as to Hausa saying he's out, he respects my opinions and thought process and peace. That's so sweet of you, Hausa. Thank you very much. I'm glad I could keep him company, entertainment for an hour. That's made my night. Thank you very much. Lionheart, though, make sure you learn to spell before you try and slander me with organisms. Banter. And anybody else wanting to change something here? Japan A+ tier. I'm tempted. I really am tempted. I do think they are good, but is that the heart speaking or the head speaking? Like, the heart says that they're S tier because they're just broken out piece of shit, but actually, when you're playing and getting the dubs versus them, are they actually that level? Not quite sure. We'll to see what changes, what they're going to make to the S tier civs. Maybe. I mean, I would like to see changes to the S tier civs. Hausa, Spain, Brit. I guess China needs that tea leaves revising, and then we play from there, I guess. I think Germany's not S tier. Maybe I'm just not good enough to squeeze every inch of goodness out of them, but I don't think they're S tier. Otherwise, it's if Germany are S tier and they don't have their they don't have their optimal or even like suboptimal crate start, then we're in like big trouble. Of like then like the game's really out of balance. Evolution saying, all right, good list, Nat tier list time. Yeah, could do on Saturday. Oh God, Hazard's already bailed, but I'm sure somebody else here. Does anybody want to play a best of 5 on the unknown map on Saturday? I will probably get some cash for that as well, because that'd be something cool. I think a lot of people would be happy to see that, and a good warm up, a fun, friendly warm up ahead of the Supremacy Cup on the Sunday, which is gonna be pretty cool. Ah, no, but Lionheart's he's a shitter though. He's a shitter, isn't he? He's a shitter.